and welcome to Scarlet Serpent readings. Thank you so much for joining me for today's timeless pick a card reading, where we will be looking at your competitive edge. And if you remember, this was in a poll, a survey that I had posted as a post maybe a month ago. So sorry, it's been I don't know why it took so long, to be honest. And I still have one more from that poll, which is a message from your Starseed family. So you could look forward to that coming up next. But anyway, yeah, we're going to look at your competitive edge. I have 3 piles for you. Pile 1 is going to be this card. Pile 2 is going to be this card. And then pile 3 is going to be this card. It's gonna focus, don't worry. There we go. So if you need some more time, please go ahead and pause the video. The timestamps are going to be in the description box. And yeah, I'll see you at your reading. Hi, pile 1. If you chose this card, this is going to be your reading. What is your competitive edge? And of course, I want to thank all of you who are subscribed and just stopping by. Welcome. It's a pleasure to read for you. It always is. It really is. So anyway, I have a few cards laid out here. The first one is the one that you chose, which is I said Morgana. It's Morana. I guess I played too much League of Legends before, but I'm just gonna read really quickly. She rules in opposition to Vesna, excuse me, the goddess of spring, but it is understood that neither could exist without the other. This cycle symbolizes eternal death and rebirth and nature, along with the transformation of responsibilities throughout the Slavic traditions. Morana heralds the winter months to teach you the virtue within release. So that's kind of like your feminine competitive edge. I didn't really know how to put these cards out, because I wanted to have a goddess card and a masculine archetype card, but I don't have a male god deck, so I guess a little shortcoming. But for the male side, I have the Lost Dreamer, and then I have 2 tarot cards which indicate your competitive edge, which is the Queen of Pentacles and 10 of Cups, and these are clarified by the 4 of Cups and 5 of Wands. So you have big dreams, and I think part of what's you've let go of is kind of an acceptance of the mundane world, really. I think you bring magic in anything that you do, and when it shows with the release card with Morana, and spring and winter and letting go, I think it's almost as if you create space for different potentials, if that makes sense. You create space for daydreaming, for living in a world without conflict. Yeah. So there's that sort of conflict resolution that you bring forth in your energy, but because you'll notice that these cards, the one was describing the other, or clarifying the other, and I'm just noticing a big difference between a huge school of fish that are able to live together and kind of swim in harmony versus just 2 I don't know what they are. Whoops. But butting heads, like and with the Queen of Pentacles, there's strong leadership, but the leadership is of a more gentle type. It's not a forceful leadership. It's almost like people follow you because you're almost ethereal in a way. Like they want to get to know a little bit of your depth, and I think it's that depth that kind of leads people, I don't know if I was going to say leads people onto you, but it engages their curiosity, and I think it's the curiosity that keeps the connection going. I'm saying connection, curiosity, things like that, because it does feel like you are a leader, you are meant to be part of a group that brings a lot of change, but it would be in unexpected places. So if you've, I guess, lived your life in a lot of, you've worked for companies or been put in situations with a lot of conflict, is because I think you naturally know how to make peace. And that peace comes from, I have the moon, that peace comes from just the knowing that a better reality exists, with the Dreamer card especially. The thing is that as far as your competitive edge, a potential downside would be letting too much of that be a daydream, too much of your ideas stay ideas and not bring it into reality. Because we have the moon card underneath the release, so lots of feminine energy. And I think this would tie into what I had mentioned of like this ethereal sense to you, of this kind of this depth that people can't really put a finger on, and that kind of leads people wanting more of you, so in any context really, that would be an edge, where it's like, let's say you're auditioning for something, like a producer would hire you just because there's something about you that they can't really put a finger on, but they just want more of that in whatever project they would need you for. And then we have underneath the Queen of Pentacles, and the Four of Cups is the Four of Wands. So I think part of that ethereal energy that I was mentioning earlier kind of comes from the angelic realm. So you have that sort of bright but kind of higher dimensional energy to you, and with Venus being here in Aries, it's there's this sort of and the Queen of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups, it's like very dreamlike, and this is Venus energy, so it has kind of like this loving undertone. It's like you could trigger the sacral chakra and solar plexus of people. I think it's more of leading through your energy as opposed to being a loud person or being very outspoken. This could easily be someone, you all could easily be someone who considers themselves to be introverted, but still notice that people copy you a lot. That might be something that happens, is because you feel like home. This feels like home. Your energy feels like home. With Ten of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, these are all very comforting energies, and I think that's part of your competitive edge, is that people find comfort in you, in who you are, and feeling safe in your presence. And if you're trying to persuade someone, that could definitely be a very big advantage. Let's get a few more cards. I don't know how long I want to make this reading, to be honest. I don't think it needs to be that long. And I'm a little curious as to what you all think as far as the length of readings for picker cards, because they vary. At least mine vary quite a bit, between maybe 20-25 minutes most, and I think the shortest one is 5 minutes for each pile, but that was the EDM picker card. But I'm just curious because I like short readings. We have the King of Pentacles, so we have the Queen and King of Pentacles here, which really brings through that security and stability. But it's interesting because we have the Lost Dreamer for the male, And this is kind of in opposition to the King of Pentacles energy. So, what I'd get with that is that this King of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, has mostly to do with, again, your energy, with the way you make people feel emotionally. But I don't think part of your competitive edge, although it might be, would be like financial, not necessarily stability, but the ability to lend a hand financially, like be a producer for a big project, something like that. It doesn't come across that way as much as it does like feeling safe. I forgot it was the Green Man, maybe, or Green Woman, something like that. I'm thinking of Swamp Thing, actually, but that might not be the right imagery. But I think you know what I'm getting at, where it's just like you're part of the earth, and that's where you get your dreaminess from, your daydreaming, your sense of peace and calm and loving energy is from. It just feels like you're a channel for the natural world. And I think because of that, you could also make these dreams into reality quite easily. It's kind of like you're a wizard and you have this energetic support from the higher realms. Let's clarify this Page of Wands, but you make things happen for yourself and for others. And Two of Pentacles. So there's a lot of Pentacles in this reading. Let's clarify this too. And I'll show you the Two of Pentacles in a second. The Hanged. It's like action through non-action, in a way, if that makes sense. It's like I had seen a video. I would say that I'd put it in the description, but I know I'm gonna forget, and either I'll forget or I won't know where to find the video. But I saw one of this, and I don't watch too many of these, but there was a guru who I don't even remember the guy's name. I think he started with a K, and it was in black and white. It was an Indian guy, or I should say Middle Eastern. I'm not really sure where he was from, but where it's like, can you live life without making a choice, without making decisions? It was a lecture about indecision, and I really enjoyed it. Something along the lines of letting choice go, and I guess in a lot of ways animals just do things instinctively, but there isn't a choice really being made, or if it is, it's not as heavy. We don't put as much emphasis, or they don't put as much emphasis on their decisions as humans do. And I think part of this has to do with maybe people trusting your opinion. There's a certain distance that you have from situations, and that comes from observation. And I think there's an emotional purity to you as well, where you know how to stay level-headed and grounded, even if there are a lot of cups and waters and changing elements. Even underneath the light of the moon, where it could be a little, some people could find it scary or untrustworthy, you remain calm, and it's almost like you're the line in between the moon and the sun here, if that makes sense. Let's get one more card for the King of Pentacles. As the King of Pentacles here. Yeah, really with King of Pentacles, it's kind of like conflict resolution. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if people ask for your opinion often. We have the Eight of Pentacles. Look at all these pentacles. This is, yeah, very grounded energy here. Either Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. But those don't have to be your only signs. Again, there's a lot of water too. So mostly Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. Those two energies are very strong with this pile specifically. But I think you put a lot of effort into peace, into being grounded in yourself. And you're very grounded while dreaming very big. And I think people like having both of that in as a part of you. Someone who's not afraid to desire a better circumstance for the community, the environment, while at the same time being comfortable with where they're at. So you have lovely energy, and I think for this pile, more so than anything, it's the influence that you have on others. It's the level of comfort that people have with you. They trust you with their secrets, just trust you in general, and they appreciate your grounded emotional intelligence. So hopefully this reading was helpful. Please let me know what you thought in the comments. I'm definitely going to get to that starseed reading very soon, and then I'll do a few more dragon readings, and yeah, I'm gonna play catch up with that list of topics that I have. But I appreciate your time. I hope you enjoyed the reading, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Hi, pile 2. If you chose this card, this is going to be your reading. What is your competitive edge? And this goddess is Atabe, and I don't know if you could see this lettering here, but it says, what does it say? Flexibility. There we go. So I'm just going to read maybe just one sentence from the book. It says, Atabe is the supreme goddess for the indigenous Taino-Caribbean religion and represents freshwater, fertility, and the ocean's tides. Atabe is known to take various manifestations, each wielding specific aspects such as nurturing, love, storms, and earthquakes. Atabe is considered one of the most influential and performs a vital role within her daily lives. Okay, so, and we'll get into the tarot after I reveal the masculine kind of aspect that you have, which is call to change. And then the two tarot cards that represent your competitive edge are the moon and the seven of wands in reverse. And I wasn't going to do reversals, but it kind of fell out that way. So very similar to pile 1 in a few ways, but really you're someone who brings change, kind of leading people through transformations, very connected to water again, and to the moon, and to the unknown. So I'm not surprised, just considering, I think, the viewers who enjoy my readings, because I live by the beach and I love water, you know. So I'm not surprised of your connection to water. And even Atabe kind of looks like she's doing the gesture for the star card or temperance, one of those two, where there's the two cups that she's, kind of pouring. I mean, it just looks that way. I don't think that's what she's doing, but and then we have the Empress underneath the moon and the King of Cups underneath the Seven of Wands. So I think you bring a lot of joy into people's lives, but you're also very comfortable with darkness. I think people come to you for guidance, specifically to give people another point of view, but because of your honesty, I think that's when people actually take the leap to make some sort of change. So if someone was to complain about their job, you would say, just get a new job, you know, just apply. and they'll have their excuses, and you'll say, well, then just work there. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Either do one or the other. And I think that ability to offer kind of objective guidance, specifically directed towards making a change in other people, I think you've probably seen people blossom from places that you wouldn't expect. So you could very easily see through the darkness, because that's where you could see light is in darkness, actually. So let's get some more tarot and dive deeper into what your competitive edge is. You'd be great in kind of a business, just to create innovative ideas that break the mold. So we have the Hanged Man again. There's usually at least a couple repeating cards throughout the readings. 9 of Cups. Yeah, that emotional intelligence is in this pile as well. And with the Hanged one, it really goes to show that you have a different perspective than most people would have, in terms of giving people options, new ways of thinking, of viewing the world that might not be so obvious to others. We have the Sun in the middle, so we have the Moon and the Sun. So I think you're very balanced, and I think maybe that's what this card was trying to show me initially, where I said it kind of looks like the Temperance. That's that balance. There's that flexibility too, to not only live in the darkness and understand the darkness and really love that sort of that energy of unknown. You also enjoy dancing in the sun, and as far as the competitive edge is concerned, it's the duality. It's the knowing when to be still and when to move quickly, and when to focus on emotional well-being and when to use the mind a bit more. Part of your competitive edge is that you're put together very well. Again, lots of balance here, yeah. You could sit still, move around, think for yourself or think for others. Again, with that Hanged Man, understanding other people's perspectives is very important in terms of your edge, is that you really understand people, more than just taking a survey. It's like you understand what people do in the surveys, how they kind of take surveys in a way that might not always be that honest. So you could kind of see beyond that. And I think your call to change from your masculine point of view, that perspective, is that you could see where everyone is the same in a way. And it's interesting that we have the 7 of Wands in reverse and then 7 of Wands upright. So it's like it just shows me that you have no problem kind of being more passive, being behind the scenes, and at the same time, if needed, in an instant, you would be the one in charge of any room. I think of, on an airplane where there's one seat that's by the exit door. I feel like you're that passenger who actually would not have a problem helping other people first, if need be. It's like you could flip a switch very quickly, and I think most of the people in this pile would understand that they could be passive, that they could kind of be behind the scenes and observant, and then all of a sudden be first in line, like in an instant. Six of Pentacles, Knight of Wands. I think this Knight of Wands feels like you. So, knowing when to, you know, shape-shift a little bit. Shape-shifting pile, I think this is it. Let's clarify this Nine of Cups. Two of Swords. And I think that's part of the advice that you give people. So, it's kind of, you're an advisor, really. And your advice, especially when people don't know which way to go in their life, in their journey, you kind of remind them to go with what feels good to them, and that'll come back around sevenfold. Kind of surprised the Hermit card isn't here, because it kind of feels like that would be your energy too. But I think sometimes this hanged one position would be a little uncomfortable for you, because you like change, you like flexibility, you like movement. Even with the moon, there's this, the moon goes through all the phases, it rises at different times, it sets at different times. It's kind of all over the place, and I think you're more comfortable with change than you are with stability. So I think you would not only give guidance to others, but create change within wherever environment you're in fairly naturally. Like, you're naturally someone who makes things happen. Which is an edge for most people who are stuck, but you could also be sort of an opposition for someone who likes being very comfortable and complacent with where they're at. Let's look at this Ace of Wands real quick. The moon, I'm not too surprised. The moon shut up earlier too. I think part of this is channeling the wisdom that comes from the unknown. So this would be kind of like mediumship abilities too, that you'd be able to use in a way. Using mediumship in a competitive way. How would you do that? Well, it'd be more of when you're in isolation, when you're in that place of solitude, in that darkness, that's when you channel the ideas a lot easier. And I think that's where you get the inspiration to take action, or take note of things that you would want to change, or even if it's spreading the wisdom that kind of radiates that potential to get things moving. I think you work very well in the night, and that's where you get most of your inspiration. But again, you have no problem dancing during the day too, so this is the shape-shifting pile, without a doubt. You could mingle with anybody, you could easily fit in with anybody, and in a lot of ways you set people free, relationships free, like friendships. You get things moving. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave the reading there. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, pile 3. If you chose this card, this is going to be your reading. What is your competitive edge? And interestingly enough, you chose, it's gonna focus, Hell, duality, and she's the daughter of Loki. You could see, I think, something in her dress, but she really represents kind of in between different realms. I'll read real quick. While rarely mentioned within the major Norse texts, She is portrayed as a deity simultaneously alive and dead. Hell's domain was the final resting place for all those who were to perish outside of battle, regardless of their actions in the mortal realm. Skipping ahead a little bit, these opposing forces are within you, and Hell asks you to honor each half of yourself with the same respect and care. Okay. We also have a masculine archetype, which is the constant rescuer. And I'm going to clarify this one with a tarot card. But before I do, I just want to show you the 2 tarot cards that I have for your competitive edge. And that's the 9 of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. And I think the 9 of Cups has shown up in every reading. I think all the piles have that emotional intelligence that is part of your competitive edge. Is kind of knowing the importance of feeling good, knowing when you feel off kilter, when it's your energy, when it's not your energy. Let me look at this constant rescuer card because it's interesting. Too much. The Chariot. So yeah, maybe you do jump in very quickly in terms of helping people. How this would be a competitive edge, it feels more like you can be relied on. And so again, kind of mirroring one of the other piles, that sense of trust is very strong with you. That's part of your competitive edge, is that people by default trust you, and they also find stability in it's emotional stability and understanding. I also think that you come across as very lucky with this Ace of Pentacles. I don't know why luck. Well, I guess since we have the Knight of Wands underneath, I just get this sense of luck. As far as duality is concerned, sometimes you overextend your help to others with 10 of Wands being here, and it was like this. So sometimes you end up putting yourself in situations with people that just can't really be helped at the moment, or you just don't have the energy to deal with their problems because they never stop having problems. And this could be a work environment, home, different relationships where, please, I need your help, I need your advice with something. You're always there for people emotionally. And I think that's probably your divine masculine that's saying this. It's saying that you come to the aid for a lot of people very often, because we have the Chariot and, again, the Rabbit going towards the 10 of Wands, which is, the Sagittarius moon is just being overworked, and sometimes you just add too much to your table because you're good at it, and I think because you enjoy that. That's, I think, the divine feminine within you that wants to help people really badly. But I think your edge would be your balance, your internal balance, again with duality being there. But we'll take a look at what else. What is your competitive edge? There's a contrast between the 9 of Cups and this 10 of Wands. It's kind of sharp. So desolate and rich. I think while this is definitely reading about competitive edge, it's just saying that you're in a better position energetically when you don't overextend, and if you're in a space or an environment that is good for you in an emotional way, you'll be able to help more people, as opposed to kind of dealing with lots of toxic people. It's kind of hard to be in a position of power where you can make real change in other people's lives. Or especially with creativity, it's hard to have the creative energy to do anything when emotionally you're giving so much focus to kind of people who drain it, who will always, as I said, who will always have a problem for you to fix. I think part of your competitive edge, though, is your energy. I think you have a lot of energy, or at least you have the potential to, with the Ace of Wands and the Knight of Cups, so 2 knights here. And I think between the energy that you have and your eagerness to make people feel good, and I think you like making people feel good because you enjoy feeling good, but I think your understanding of what feeling good means is very different from, I think, casual people, where it's just, you know, partying or alcohol or something like that, whereas for you, feeling good is more of just like walking barefoot on the beach or little things. I think you have an appreciation for these little things, and I think that's where... Oh, the Hermit. I was looking for the Hermit in another pile. Oh, and the Chariot's here too. So we have the Chariot in this group twice. This is a very different looking Chariot, but I'm not gonna go into that card because it was just in the bottom, so I'll just kind of leave it on the side. So two Chariot cards. I'm a little salty at this Hermit because I was pretty sure it was going to show up in the last reading, but it's here, so we'll notice that the Hermit's opening themselves up. I think that's kind of where you found your duality. We also have the 8 of Swords and 2 of Pentacles showing up again. Should this 8 of Swords? I think when it says constant rescuer, I think you might encourage people to look within, but not directly. I think you are the constant rescuer just because you're very good at it, especially when it comes to people who are in maybe even abusive relationships. You could snuff it out very quickly, offer new opportunities, offer different ways to go about getting out of different situations. So this is kind of like counselor, therapist energy, like HR or something, or offer different choices, different ways to move on with life. Again, very well-rounded. We have all the elements here: sword, cups, pentacles, and wands, and the Hermit here. So let's just clarify these cards. So part of your edge is your energy, and I think energy, being mindful of how you expend that energy is important, especially if you want to create something, or if you want to... And I do kind of feel like you want to create something, that there's something that you've been wanting to make. And I think if people come to you with 2 options, you'll always lead them towards something creative, something that is outside of the norm. This is more leadership energy, though. I think all the piles had the potential to be leaders, but I think each pile goes about it in a different way. For you, it's kind of like you lead through your action, which is why the Chariot card is so important for this pile, is that be mindful of the direction in which you go, because people will follow. People are going to follow you quite naturally. You have the Shadow, which is the Devil card, which makes sense given the duality. of hell. And speaking of hell, I mean the devil, these two go hand in hand, actually. So I think this pile in particular has done a lot of shadow work. And I think you also notice when people put the swords up for themselves, the 8 of Swords. If anybody likes Dream Theater, there's a song called The Glass Prison. It's exceptional. That's what the 8 of Swords energy is. And it's a really good song, so listen to it. No, it's really good. And I kind of feel that with this. But you have an understanding of the shadow. You're not afraid of your shadow, and I think through your own shadow work, you're a guiding light for other people who have no idea. They don't really know how to deal with their own darkness, or the collective unconscious, and that makes you a light. The Hermit and this Knight of Pentacles, these feel very similar. More similar than it usually would be, and it's because the Knight of Pentacles is holding the light in his hands with the prism, and I think that's where this Ace of Pentacles comes from, actually. If you remember in the beginning, this was part of your competitive edge, new opportunities, financially, but I think that comes from yourself and digging deep. It's kind of like bringing, it's self-empowerment, and the first thing was having that for yourself. So depending on who's watching, when you're watching, you might be at some point in that journey, but eventually you'll find that diamond within you. Yes, like the clear quartz. But you'll find that within yourself, and you'll know that you, just like anyone else, has the potential to make money out of anything. And it's kind of like you help people mine for gold within themselves. How is this a competitive edge? Well, I mean, no matter what you do, people find the value in you, and that, well, you're invaluable. You could find gold anywhere. You've gone through the dark. You could see through the illusions, through the glass prison. You could see through all of it because you've been there so many times. It's like Dio's song. Oh no. Is it Stand Up and Shout? I want to say it's Stand Up and Shout. Where there's glass on the floor and Dio says you get caught before you see it. But you're this type of person who sees the glass on the floor even without seeing the glass on the floor. You just know where things are, as far as emotional traps, as far as stuck energy. You can identify stuck energy, move around it, move through it, and the biggest thing here is movement and flow of energy. So it could be physically, you're just like moving around, but I think there's almost a subconscious energetic awareness of flow that you use to navigate through your life and help others navigate through their lives. So I know it was a little different than what I was expecting for a competitive edge reading, but it's what came through. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Take care.